From the glittering lights of fame to the shadows of scandals, Tiffany Stratton's life has been nothing short of a roller coaster. Her name, once synonymous with grace and success, became a lightning rod for controversy, intrigue, and public fascination. But who is the person behind the headlines? Behind the carefully curated persona that the world has come to know? What happens when the weight of fame becomes unbearable and the cracks begin to show? This is the story of Tiffany Stratton, a woman whose meteoric rise captured the hearts of millions, whose sudden fall left them questioning everything, and whose relentless journey toward redemption reveals the resilience of the human spirit. It's a tale of ambition, betrayal, self-destruction, and, ultimately, transformation. With each chapter of her life, Stratton's story becomes a mirror reflecting our own fears, desires, and struggles. She is not just a star but a symbol, a reminder of the thin line between triumph and tragedy, between adoration and condemnation. Join us as we delve into the life of Tiffany Stratton, uncovering the truths behind her rise to fame, the controversies that nearly destroyed her, and the lessons that emerged from her journey to redemption. Tiffany Stratton's life began far from the glamorous world she would later inhabit. Born in a quiet suburban neighborhood, her early years were marked by simplicity and a sense of belonging. Her parents, hard-working and deeply rooted in traditional values, instilled in her a strong sense of discipline and ambition. Yet, even in those early days, there were glimpses of the extraordinary charisma and determination that would one day set her apart. From a young age, Tiffany was a dreamer. While other children played outside, she was busy sketching designs, practicing lines, or choreographing routines in her bedroom. She often told anyone who would listen that she was destined for something greater than the small-town life she was born into. Her dreams, however, were not without challenges. Financial struggles loomed large in the Stratton household. Tiffany's father worked multiple jobs to make ends meet, while her mother juggled responsibilities at home and in the local community. These hardships became the backdrop against which Tiffany's resilience was forged. It wasn't just ambition that drove her, it was necessity. She knew that success was not just a goal. It was a way to escape the limitations of her circumstances. But success didn't come easily. Tiffany faced her share of rejection and criticism. Even as a child, teachers often described her as too ambitious or too outspoken, labels that only fueled her determination. She developed a thick skin early on, learning to weather the storms of doubt and skepticism that came her way. Her family's support, however, remained unwavering. They believed in her dreams, even when the world didn't. By the time Tiffany reached her teenage years, her potential was undeniable. She excelled in academics, shone in extracurricular activities, and became a local sensation for her performances in school plays and talent shows. Yet, behind the accolades and applause, there was a young girl grappling with self-doubt. The pressure to succeed weighed heavily on her shoulders, and the fear of failure often loomed in the back of her mind. Her path to success was not linear. There were moments of triumph, but there were also setbacks that tested her resolve. A pivotal moment came when she auditioned for a national talent competition and faced her first major rejection. It was a crushing blow, but Tiffany refused to let it define her. Instead, she used the experience as fuel to work harder, to push boundaries, and to prove her doubters wrong. These early years laid the foundation for the woman Tiffany would become, a complex blend of vulnerability and strength, ambition and humility. They were the years that shaped her identity, gave her purpose, and set the stage for the incredible journey that lay ahead. Tiffany Stratton's ascent to stardom was as dazzling as it was rapid. It all began with a single, defining moment, her breakthrough performance in a regional talent show that captured the attention of a well-known talent scout. From that point on, her life would never be the same. What set Tiffany apart wasn't just her undeniable talent. It was her magnetic presence. She had the rare ability to command attention, to draw people in, and to leave an indelible impression. Her journey to the top wasn't without its challenges. The entertainment industry, though glamorous on the surface, was a labyrinth of cutthroat competition, backroom politics, and relentless pressure. Tiffany faced it all head-on, armed with her unwavering determination and an unshakable belief in her own potential. Her breakout role in a critically acclaimed production catapulted her into the public eye. Suddenly, she was everywhere, on magazine covers, talk shows, and the lips of fans who couldn't get enough of her. But success came with its own set of challenges. The grueling schedules, the constant scrutiny, and the ever-present pressure to maintain her image began to take a toll. For Tiffany, the spotlight was both a blessing and a burden. She loved the adoration of her fans and the opportunities that fame brought. But she struggled with the loss of privacy and the relentless demands of her career. Despite these challenges, Tiffany continued to rise. She became known for her versatility and her ability to tackle roles that required both emotional depth and physical prowess. Critics hailed her as a once-in-a-generation talent, and fans idolized her for her relatable yet aspirational persona. Her success wasn't just about her talent. It was about her story. She was a small-town girl who had dared to dream big and succeeded against all odds. However, the higher Tiffany climbed, the further there was to fall. Her meteoric rise was accompanied by whispers of envy and resentment from those who saw her success as unearned or undeserved. For Tiffany, the weight of expectation was growing heavier by the day, and cracks were beginning to show beneath the polished surface of her public image. The turning point in Tiffany Stratton's career came not with a role or a performance, but with a scandal that would shake the foundation of her carefully constructed persona. It began innocuously enough: a tabloid headline, a grainy photo, a rumor whispered in hushed tones. But in the age of social media, where every misstep is magnified and dissected, the story quickly spiraled out of control. The first scandal was a shock to Tiffany's fans, who had come to see her as a beacon of perfection. It was alleged that she had been involved in a contentious legal dispute with a former manager, who accused her of breach of contract and unethical behavior. The headlines were relentless, painting Tiffany as a ruthless opportunist who would stop at nothing to get ahead. For Tiffany, the allegations were devastating. She denied the accusations, but the damage to her reputation had already been done. As if that weren't enough, more controversies soon followed. Stories emerged about strained relationships with co-stars, rumors of diva-like behavior on set, and a high-profile breakup that played out in the tabloids for weeks. Each new headline added fuel to the fire, and Tiffany found herself at the center of a media frenzy. The public, once so enamored with her, began to turn against her. Social media was flooded with criticism, memes, and hashtags calling for her cancellation. Behind the scenes, Tiffany was struggling. The relentless negativity took a toll on her mental health, leading to bouts of anxiety and depression. She felt isolated, betrayed, and overwhelmed by the very world she had once dreamed of conquering. Friends and colleagues who had once stood by her began to distance themselves, unwilling to be associated with the scandals that now defined her career. But perhaps the most painful controversy was the one that hit closest to home. A tell-all book published by a former confidant revealed intimate details about Tiffany's personal life, painting her as a deeply flawed and conflicted individual. The book, filled with half-truths and sensationalized accounts, became a bestseller and further tarnished her image. For Tiffany, It was a betrayal of the worst kind, a reminder that in the world of fame, trust was a rare and fragile commodity. Through it all, Tiffany tried to maintain a brave face. She continued to work, taking on roles that allowed her to channel her pain and frustration into her performances. But the scandals had left their mark, and Tiffany's once bright star was now dimmed by the weight of controversy. She was no longer the darling of the industry. She was its cautionary tale. As Tiffany Stratton's career seemed to crumble around her, the personal toll became undeniable. For years, she had been running on adrenaline, pushing herself to meet the relentless demands of fame. Now, with her reputation in tatters and her support system eroding, Tiffany was forced to confront the very demons she had spent a lifetime avoiding. Behind the glamour of her public image was a young woman battling feelings of inadequacy, loneliness, and guilt. She began to withdraw from the public eye, retreating to the sanctuary of her home to escape the constant scrutiny and judgment. But even in isolation, she couldn't escape herself. The tabloids continued to churn out stories, each one more sensational than the last, and the whispers of her so-called friends echoed in her mind. Tiffany's struggles weren't just emotional. They were physical as well. Years of working grueling hours, enduring immense stress, and neglecting her health had begun to take a serious toll on her body. She suffered from chronic fatigue, frequent panic attacks, and an overwhelming sense of despair. At her lowest point, Tiffany admitted to herself that she needed help. Her journey toward redemption began in the quietest of ways. A trusted confidant suggested she seek therapy, a step she had long resisted out of fear of appearing weak. Reluctantly, she agreed, and it became the first of many steps toward healing. Through therapy, Tiffany began to unpack the trauma of her childhood, the pressures of fame, and the mistakes that had led her to this moment. But redemption isn't a straight path. And for Tiffany, it was a journey marked by setbacks and hard truths. There were days when the weight of her regrets seemed too much to bear. She struggled to reconcile the person she had become with the person she wanted to be. Yet, with each therapy session, each candid conversation with her loved ones, and each moment of introspection, she began to rebuild the foundation of her life. Tiffany also found solace in giving back. Determined to use her platform for good, she became involved in charitable work, focusing on mental health awareness and support for young women in the arts. These causes were deeply personal to her, and through them, she found a renewed sense of purpose. For the first time in years, Tiffany felt like she was doing something meaningful, something that went beyond the shallow pursuits of fame. Her efforts didn't go unnoticed. Slowly but surely, public perception began to shift. The media, once quick to vilify her, started to acknowledge her efforts to make amends. Fans who had turned their backs on her began to see her in a new light, not as a perfect star, but as a flawed and relatable human being striving to do better. Tiffany's redemption also extended to her career. She took on roles that allowed her to showcase her vulnerability and depth, roles that reflected her own journey of struggle and growth. Critics praised her performances, calling them some of the best of her career. For Tiffany, these roles weren't just work. They were a form of catharsis, a way of processing her pain and turning it into art. Perhaps the most significant chapter of Tiffany's redemption was her decision to tell her own story. In a candid and heartfelt memoir, she laid bare the truth about her life, the triumphs, the scandals, the mistakes, and the lessons learned. The book, titled Broken and Beautiful, My Journey from the Shadows, became an instant bestseller, resonating with readers around the world. For Tiffany, writing the book was both terrifying and liberating. It was her way of taking control of the narrative, of owning her story instead of letting others define it. In the years that followed, Tiffany's life took on a new rhythm. She found a balance between her personal and professional lives, prioritizing her mental health and her relationships over the relentless pursuit of success. She reconciled with estranged friends and family members, rebuilding the connections that had been strained by years of misunderstandings and distance. Today, Tiffany Stratton is a symbol of resilience and growth. Her journey from the heights of fame to the depths of despair, and finally to a place of peace and fulfillment, is a testament to the power of redemption. She is proof that it's never too late to change, to heal, and to become the person you were always meant to be. Tiffany Stratton's story is not just one of personal transformation, but a broader commentary on the pressures and pitfalls of fame. She began as a wide-eyed dreamer, eager to conquer the world, and ended as a woman who had faced her demons, weathered life's storms, and emerged stronger for it. Her journey is a testament to resilience, self-awareness, and the enduring power of redemption. Today, Tiffany is celebrated not just for her talent, but for her courage in sharing her story. In doing so, she has become a voice for those who struggle silently, a beacon of hope for those who feel defined by their mistakes. She has used her platform to shed light on the darker side of the entertainment industry, the unrealistic expectations, the ruthless scrutiny, and the toll it takes on mental health. Her advocacy for self-care and transparency has inspired countless others to seek help and embrace their imperfections. But perhaps Tiffany's most significant legacy is a lesson her life teaches: that success is not measured by the absence of failure, but by the ability to rise after falling. She has shown the world that redemption is not about erasing the past, but about learning from it, growing through it, and using those lessons to build a better future. Her influence extends beyond her professional accomplishments. In the years since her return to the spotlight, Tiffany has dedicated herself to mentorship programs, supporting young artists and creators who aspire to follow in her footsteps. She encourages them to embrace their authenticity, reminding them that their worth is not tied to external validation, but to their inner strength and resilience. Tiffany's journey has also sparked important conversations about the nature of fame and the responsibility of both celebrities and their audiences. She has challenged the culture of instant judgment and public shaming, urging people to look beyond the headlines and consider the humanity of those they idolize or criticize. Her memoir, Broken and Beautiful: My Journey from the Shadows, continues to resonate with readers, earning praise for its raw honesty and emotional depth. In interviews, Tiffany speaks openly about her struggles, refusing to shy away from the uncomfortable truths of her past. Her willingness to be vulnerable has endeared her to fans and critics alike, proving that authenticity is far more powerful than perfection. As she stands today, Tiffany Stratton is not just a star but a symbol, a reminder that even in the face of adversity, it is possible to rebuild, to grow, and to shine once more. Her life is a mosaic of triumphs and failures, heartbreaks and joys, each piece coming together to create a story that is as complex and beautiful as the woman herself. The world may remember Tiffany Stratton for her talent, her controversies, or her redemption, but those who truly know her story will remember her for something far greater: her humanity. In the end, Tiffany's story is a mirror for all of us. It reflects our own struggles, our own imperfections, and our own capacity for growth. It is a reminder that no matter how far we fall, we are never beyond the reach of redemption. Tiffany Stratton's life is proof that the most powerful stories are not the ones that end in perfection, but the ones that embrace the beauty of imperfection. Her legacy is not just in the roles she played or the awards she won, but in the lives she touched, the conversations she started, and the hope she gave to those who needed it most. As the curtain falls on Tiffany Stratton's story, one thing is clear: her journey is not just a tale of fame and redemption. It is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the transformative power of self-acceptance.